Jai Sriman Narayan. Jai Sriman Narayan. Jai Sriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to the Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to the 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here, physically at the Sri Narayan Dham, at 28 Dunstable Crescent, Reservoir Hills, Durban, South Africa. On this rainy Thursday evening, I welcome those that's watching this discourse live, locally, nationally, and internationally, and I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted to the various groups from around the world. Prior to the lockdown, I was discussing the topic creation. And I want to get back to that topic, creation, so that one may understand our reason for vibrating in this material dimension. Just before that, I want to reiterate that the Sri Narayan Dham expounds absolute science, and this is not a religious program. Science deal with creation. Material science is a subject for material creation, and absolute science is a subject for both material and spiritual creation. So, we're discussing creation in terms of absolute science. Absolute means no alteration. Absolute means there can be no alteration, and what is stated cannot be changed. The reason for creation is as follows. The Supreme Lord, Lord Sriman Narayan, has eternally created for the purposes of the soul two dimensions. One is a spiritual dimension and one is a material dimension. Both the material and the spiritual dimension exist within the embodiment of the Supreme Lord, which means that there is not an atom of space that is not contained by Lord Sriman Narayan. So both the spiritual and the material dimensions is pervaded by the Supreme Lord, Lord Sriman Narayan, and when he pervades material nature from end to end, he is called Vishnu. Vishnu means the pervasion of material nature by the Supreme Lord, Lord Sri Narayan. In these two dimensions, the spiritual dimension is eternal. It means that it exists all the time. There is no beginning, no middle, and no end. The material dimension is periodical. It means it has a beginning, a middle, and its end. And currently, at this point in time, we are in the middle. The total solar years of material creation is 311 trillion 40 billion years. Currently, we are in the midst of 155 trillion years in this cycle of creation. And when I say it is periodical, it is eternally periodical, which means in these intervals of creation and non-creation, there is continuity. It's not going to end. It did not have a beginning, and it has no middle, and it has no end. But don't be confused, because just now I said that this cycle we are in the middle, because it is specific to this cycle of creation. However, creation, material creation, occurs eternally. Now the impulsion, the reason for material creation is a stock of karma belonging to all the living entities that exist in the material dimension or embodiment of Lord Sri Narayan. This stock of karma, both good and bad, impels Lord Sriman Narayan to create a cycle of creation so that the living entities, when they attain a human body which is awarded with intellect, that they use this intellect and come out of the material dimension and cross over to the spiritual dimension. In the material dimension, there are 8.4 million species of life. Aquatics, plants and creepers, trees, bush, flowers, reptiles, beasts, birds, and lastly, man. It is only the vehicle in the shape of the body as man that allows you to cross over from endless suffering into eternal bliss. All these other vehicles are for you to expend your karma. Expend or exhaust your karma. So if you're living in the body of a snake, you are exhausting an X amount of your karma in that body, and then you continue getting awarded different bodies, and when you get a human body, then you have mostly expended your karmas, because this is the greatest vehicle you can get. From the 8.4 million species or types of vehicle, this vehicle has been created perfectly for man to cross over from the material dimension to the spiritual dimension. It is only, and I'm repeating, only in this vehicle, after expending karmas that were accrued to you from the beginningless karma. Karma has no beginning. Karma has no beginning, but it has an end. Karma has no beginning. It has always been there, but it has an end, an individual end. An individual end. You can use this vehicle which was specifically awarded to you to exhaust your zillions of lifetimes of karma. This vehicle, the human body, which has as an attribute intellect to discern the scriptural injunction and non-scriptural injunctions. You use your intellect to discern scriptural injunctions and non-scriptural injunctions, and then you start living within the parameters of scripture. And as soon as you start living within the parameters of scripture, your life becomes blissful. Your life becomes blissful. It is as simple as A, B, C. A, B, C. That's how simple Sanatana Dharma is. This is how simple Sanatana Dharma is. But you have to have two qualities, and I want to add one more quality this week. The two qualities last week were, Jessica, loyalty and truth. Loyalty and truth. And this week I want to add gratitude. I want to add gratitude. So you must be loyal, you must be truthful, and as soon as you accept this program, you must have gratitude. These three qualities will assist you on your way to an absolute blissful nature. To an absolute blissful nature. And when your soul departs from this body, it will cross over to the spiritual dimension. It will cross over to the spiritual dimension. So most of you seated here today is not interested, Jessica, at the end. Tell me who's interested. What happens at death? Anyone here? Really? No. Okay? Because we are here for what is happening now. We want to solve now. We want to fix up now. That's it? We want to fix up now. Later, when we get that white beard, then we'll think about crossing over. When the beard gets white. Now it's time to wine and dine. Marry and have children. Yeah, it's human nature. So God has made provisions. God has made provisions. It doesn't matter what age group you fall in. Once you link to this system. Once you link to this system and you are loyal, you are truthful, and you have gratitude, then your life starts getting blissful. Yeah. Where do astronauts train to become astronauts? Jessica? Yeah, where? In space? On Earth. You train on Earth. So if you want to become blissful, if you want to taste bliss, where must God give you the taste of bliss? On Earth or in the spiritual reality? On Earth. Logical? For those reasons, if you connect to a Sanatan Dharma satsang presided by a bona fide spiritual master who is linked through his guru in Sanatan Dharma, then you can start tasting this bliss. You can start tasting this bliss because it is human nature. It is human nature to taste and then to accept or reject. That's it? Isn't it? Have you been in Checkers any time? Where they got a scuttle bride, a scuttle, and new products are busy being fried in that scuttle, and they give you a piece for free. And if it tastes nice, then what would you do? You'll buy it. How many times have you tasted these products? That's it? Anyone? Huh?
Not many times.
But did you have an opportunity? Did you try and go back for more? That's it? About 3 or 4 times? You acted like it doesn't taste nice. You want to get the real taste. Isn't? Yeah, this is how this satsang is. You must keep coming to taste. You keep coming to taste. And as you come to satsang, your life will become blissful. But you have to be qualified for that bliss. And the qualification is truthfulness, loyalty, and gratitude. So you get up in the morning and you give gratitude to Lord Sri Narayan for having him connect you to him. Because in 7.6 billion people around the world today, it's just a handful that will be connected to Lord Sri Narayan. Just like from 7.6 billion people in the world today, how many are astronauts? Handful? Similarly, those of you who's going to be connected to Lord Sri Narayan cannot be too many. Have to be a handful at a time, because we are at the apex. We are at the apex of this ecosystem. We are at the apex of this ecosystem, and from here, it's like a pyramid. Very few on the top that will be going into perpetual bliss, or else it won't be necessary for the Supreme Lord to create material universes. You understand? And if we look at 311 trillion, 40 billion years, and if there were a lot of us ready for transmigration from the material reality to the spiritual reality, it might only be Charles living in this universe now. Just Charles. Isn't Charles? Yeah. It would have just been Charles. The whole universe, the diameter of this universe is 4 billion miles, and it would have been Charles ruling. It would have been Charlieverse. So coming back, when God creates, when Lord Sri Narayan creates, he is impelled by each of our karma to create. After the 311 trillion years have elapsed, and there was an interval, and then the next cycle of creation is impelled by the sum total of all the karmas of all the individuals that are in the material reality, and he creates. And I want you to imagine a universe as a ball of cotton wool. I want you to imagine a universe as a ball of cotton wool. What would be the substratum of the cotton wool, Jessica? What will the cotton wool be comprised of to give you that cotton wool? Sean? If you break up this cotton wool and pull it apart, what you'll find individually? Strands. You will find strands. So if you look at a universe that is 4 billion miles in diameter, made of cotton wool, and if you examine the strands in this universe, let each strand represent an individual soul. Can you see how you are intertwined wherever you are positioned? You are intertwined wherever you are positioned. You are just a strand, but you are intertwined with your family. You are intertwined with your family. You are intertwined with your employment. You are intertwined with your schooling. You are intertwined in your university. You are intertwined where you live. You are intertwined in your municipality. You are intertwined in your state. You are intertwined in your continent. And you are intertwined in the world. Then you are intertwined in your planet. And there are millions of planets, we only know of 10. There are millions of planets rotating simultaneously in each universe. There are 14 planetary systems in each universe. So can you see how you become intertwined through your collective karma? There is an accurate spreadsheet that takes you as a strand and places you wherever you have been placed. Okay? So, simultaneously, how many of you all watched movies with special forces and the terminology called extraction, terminology called surgical strike? Special forces? So the Supreme Lord, Lord Sriman Narayan, has his special forces. And his special forces are Vaishnavite gurus. His special forces are Vaishnavite gurus. These Vaishnavite gurus are loyal to him. Okay? And they are dispersed all over the universe. They are dispersed all over the universe. Okay? And I want you to again imagine the ball of cotton wool. In the ball of cotton wool, hundreds and thousands of strands are intertwined with you. Isn't it? But the system says, if you surrender to a bona fide spiritual master, and the system is talking to an individual, the system is talking to an individual, and the system from our scientific handbook called the Bhagavad Gita is the absolute scientific handbook, and in the system it states that if you surrender to a bona fide spiritual master, and when he gives you transcendental knowledge, this transcendental knowledge will burn away your Maya, M-I-R-E, of karmas that you have accrued since time immemorial. But you are intertwined. You are intertwined, Sean. This is why I said, come with your family to satsang. Jessica, I said, come with your family to satsang. And I keep telling anyone that come to satsang, come with your family, because as an individual thread, you are intertwined with your family. So the Guru when you surrender, Jessica, then only you can be given the opportunity to liberate yourself. Not your husband, not your children. Because this is an individual relationship. This is why I told Sean's son last week that whose Guru I am? My Guru. Yes, your Guru. Because you're an individual. No matter how many times mom and dad come to satsang, for you to be a beneficiary, you have to be. Because if you get the flu, can you send mom and dad to go get an injection for you? You have to go and get the injection, so you are cured of your own illness. Alright? All of you understand? Mom and dad can't take an injection for you. In the material science and in spiritual science, your injection is this knowledge that I'm giving you, transcendental knowledge. So the Guru does a surgical strike. What's a surgical strike? What is a surgical strike, Satish? Jessica? No. In the military, what's a surgical strike?
Something planned, specific, decisive action.
Decisive action on a specific target. Like last night, ironically, Pakistan, their city Karachi was in a blackout because they thought India was going to perform a surgical strike on one of their terrorist bases. But they mistook their own fighter aircraft, and they thought it belonged to India. So the entire city was in a blackout. They thought India was going to perform a surgical strike. So when a surgical strike is performed, it is only for a person or a group of people, not the entire community. Like if Satish was a terrorist in Pinetown, alright, a terrorist in Pine Town, then the security forces will strike at his flat. And they'll only bring Satish down, not Jessica and Mitchell. Alright? Unless they were terrorists. Are you understanding? So this is what the Guru does. The Guru, after you surrender to a Guru, the Guru does a surgical strike on you and your family. Because either you individually or together with your family, you came and you surrendered to this satsang. So the Guru will do a surgical strike and extricate you from karma and its consequences. You understand? The Guru will extricate you, your family, from karma, being attacked from karma and its consequences. And as soon as you relieved of karma, what is the opposite of karma? Bliss and divinity. Bliss and divinity. You understand? Because the Guru cannot extricate or give bliss and divinity to the entire family if everyone is not surrendered, because this is absolute science. This is absolute science. So as you come in, as you surrender, when you surrender, then the Guru does a surgical strike and he extricates you from the influence of karma. If there is no karma, then the Guru dictates your life. Opposite of karma is blissfulness and divinity, and if you're living in blissfulness and divinity, aren't you practicing for your absolute state when you leave this life? You understand? And for that reason, you have to be a lifelong member. You have to be a lifelong member, because after we extricate you with a surgical strike, Sean, and you disappear, then you fall back. You fall back where we found you. Because if an astronaut stops his training, will he be able to walk in space? Okay? So this is a package deal. This is a package deal, and it is absolute, it is scientific. Whether you believe it or not, it does not matter. Whether you believe it or not, it does not matter. It continues to work. It continues to work, whether you believe or don't believe. So you have this opportunity to fix up all your debt with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to fix up all your wrongs with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Is there such thing as marriage in this universe? It exists? Yes. Are there such thing as children? They exist? Yes. Are there such thing as richness? It exists? Yes. Are there such thing as luxuries? It exists? Yes. All these things are here. It is here. It is to be used here. Because it's material. You cannot take these things when you leave. You only leave with your spirit, soul, which is you. That's the only entity that leaves this material domain. So it does not mean that when you give your life to the Guru and surrender, that you must now live in a dhoti in the bush somewhere. In fact, the Guru likes to give each one of you a house in Belito, on the beach. Alright? would be best of motor vehicles, because we have the best motor vehicles. We have Mercedes, Lamborghinis, Range Rovers. We have these vehicles. The Guru would like all of you to have it. All you have to be is loyal, truthful, and give gratitude every morning. That's how simple it is. This satsang is our laboratory. Science must have a laboratory. Anything scientific, you must have a lab, you must do your experiment. In this laboratory, whoever, for whatever period of time, was loyal, was truthful, and gave us gratitude, we fixed all the things. Whatever needed fixing. Whatever needed fixing was fixed. And if you go on Google, Acharya Shyam Ramanuj, on that page, or if you Google Sri Narayan Dham, then you'll find testimonies of hundreds of people that will tell you how they landed here, what their condition was, and when they were within this system, what their lives were. And then those that left, you can go and visit them now and see where they are, back where they came from. Alright? So, I'd like to conclude that the ball is in your court. Alright? Then you can also, Jessica will tell you, she's here with us in this satsang, that I was a material person just like everyone else. I was in business, and just before I became a guru, the business that I am in, or I was in, makes a lot of money. Makes a lot of money. Then I matriculated, I went to university, I was involved in a lot of social work, I was involved in a lot of political work, I was involved in a lot of business, community upliftment. So I've been around. When we left, a project in excess of 200 million to wear this dhoti. Alright? To wear this dhoti. And then from there was a time in 2014, in April, where I gave a discourse in our Phoenix branch. We had branches at that point in time. And I said, I didn't eat white bread for so long that when I ate white bread, it tasted like cake. Can you see the difference? Why you think I will jump from one platform to the next platform? Because I explained to you I've been around. I'm educated, I've been in the military, I've been around. Will I leave everything, own nothing, and after 2 or 3 months, when I ate my first slice of white bread, that is, just bread, plain white bread with no butter, it tasted like cake. Why would I do that? Because the system is real and absolute. I didn't want it for myself. Mataji and I were young. We could have pulled another 10 years and started this in our 60s. But we didn't. We started it in our 50s. And we didn't give it a second thought. We didn't think twice. So that all those people that came through, whether they gave gratitude or not, it does not matter. But when you leave here and we see the smile on your face, after every hurdle that you have passed, that keeps us fueled for the next set of devotees and for the next set of devotees and for the next set of devotees. Alright? So I'd like to conclude by stating that we have satsang on Thursdays and Sundays. One of those days, especially if you are new, you have to be here. And try and imbibe that feeling, like this boy. When you decided you'll be in the satsang this week, which day you knew you come in satsang? When mommy and daddy told you come in satsang today. Last week? Yeah. And then today you was excited? You felt good? Because you come into satsang. All of you all must feel like this. Naturally feel good. It must be a great day. If you were a Thursday satsang, from Tuesday, Wednesday, you must say, hey, satsang, satsang. You understand? And if you're a Sunday satsang, then from the Thursday you must say, hey, I'm losing out this other in satsang, but I'll come on Sunday. If you imbibe this feeling, who you connecting with? Lord Narayan. How you think your events of your life will pan out. If you have a yearning, for at this point in time, you'll find him here, but there will come a time you'll find him everywhere. But now your yearning must be to find him here. Jai Sri Narayan.